Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. One couple always appeared to find their way through the turbulence in the broad, erratic realm of 90 Day Fiancé, where relationships teeter between fantasy and fracture. Two names fans grew to identify with: redemption, laughter, and an unusual but persistent love, David Toborowsky and Annie Sewin. From the outside, they constituted a success story. A guy rebuilt by love from adversity. A woman whose soul was ablaze with fire and laughter in her eyes turned the agony of distance and uncertainty into a mission and a team. Sometimes, though, the most beautiful homes contain the most severe cracks, hidden under layers of laughing, past events, and well-trimmed social media squares. This is the narrative of what transpires upon wide-open breaking of those cracks. This chronicles David and Annie's journey following the fall. The morning of May 31st, 2025 started like every other in the Toborowsky house. There had been left in the warmer a bottle. There was the lingering aroma of lavender lotion. A half-folded onesie lay next to the crib, pink, with cursive gold sewn in Daddy's dumpling. Annie Sewin softly rocked her 2-month-old daughter Minthirirad discreetly upstairs in the nursery. The baby's faint, steady breathing was a peaceful wonder in a world that had suddenly been too loud. David was making coffee downstairs, humming an old Thai tune. The piece continued till 6:23 a.m. It was at this point the knocking began. Not hostile, not antagonistic. Basically last. 3 nice raps at the front door. And stillness. Then one more. The IC officials had already flayed both sides of the porch before David's opening time. Not one person yelled. Not calling out loud. Just papers. Inquiries. Restraints. And the chilly, austere vocabulary of bureaucracy. David was detained right away, accused of immigration fraud, tax deception, and deliberately living in the United States without official legal status. He had stayed too far away. Neglected to reveal company locations. And now he was being taken directly to federal jail, not to a holding center downtown. Annie stopped right inside the nursery. David was in the rear of a black car by the time she ran downstairs. His gaze locked with hers. Language, time, not applicable here. Just a glance here. A ghost of remorse across the glass. Then he vanished. The quiet that descended was not empty. It came apart. You have to go back to really appreciate the weight of that morning. Returning from before the cameos and the Tick Hub. Before the lectures on cooking and internet memes. Back then, David Toborowsky was a man rebuilding his life following divorce, living on couches in Louisville, hanging to optimism like a lifeline. And young Annie Sewin was a vivid and relentless woman living in Thailand, running across oceans toward the unreachable. They got together in a karaoke pub, started to fall in love, battled financial collapse and visa refusal. And yet somehow they made it. Together, they formed something unusual in the 90-day society, a pair that stayed, that escalated, that created a life not only in front of cameras but in kitchens, bank conferences, and long, painful evenings off-screen. And Annie fell pregnant in 2024 following years of trying. On March 11, 2025, Molly Rose was born. She was the prayer's response, the mending of injuries. David and Annie had once thought the bridge to a future lost to them. Thus, the loss David experienced was not only emotional but also legal. It was not only emotional, not even purely intellectual. It was at the cellular level. It was the sudden fall of a dream rebuilt over years, reduced to handcuffs, stillness, and a tiny girl with her father's eyes now peering into a house bereft of his presence. Annie hardly started crying right away. She remained silent instead of screaming. With Molly clasped to her chest, she entered the kitchen as though she could pretend everything was good for just one more minute. Her hands started to shake, though, when she unlocked the cupboard and reached for David's coffee mug, the same one he used every morning. Her infant still in her arms, she dropped to the ground. And there she was hours later, rocking softly, mumbling his name among the neighbors. News passed quickly. TMZ published it first. Later on Reddit. Next the entertainment blogs. David Toborowsky arrested by ICE. Immersion fraud scandal rocks 90-day couple. Annie Sewin left alone with newborn daughter. Some supporters rushed to defend him. Others let their judgment flow freely. But no headline could adequately describe the silent disintegration occurring within the Toborowsky house. David's absence transcended mere emotional loss. It had to do with logistics. He carried the mortgage under his name. The restaurant lease? Frosted. Regarding the utilities? Currently late. Still recovering from delivery, Annie was now in survival mode. She slept for just 2 hours a night, made into infant blankets, left half-made bottles while her hands continued to tray meter. She never left either though. Family in Thailand urged her to go back. They advised, come home. Begin over. Bring the infant where it is safe. Annie disagreed though, given that this was their house. They had grown their love in this ground. Molly had started her life here. She would not abandon it either. Not yet. David Toborowsky was a number rather than a name within the Eloy Detention Center. Inmate 442,761. He lived in a cell with 2 men, neither of whom spoke English very well. The meal was tasteless. The lights never quite went dark. Calls at will were absent. Only schedules, quiet, and echoes. David had no social media access. Not even warm food. Never Annie. His only interaction was brief, under-control phone calls, usually cut off by Molly's tears or poor service. Annie attempted to remain strong on such calls. She kept her thinness from him under wraps. Alternatively, that she had skipped a whole meal in days. Alternatively, she started crying in the shower since that was the only place Molly could not hear. She said only, "We love you. We sorely miss you. Continue your struggle." David could hear, nevertheless, the weariness, the quakes in her voice. Her definition of love sounded to be all they had left. Legal reality was more cruel than any of them could have imagined. David's original green card was given under difficult conditional conditions. Years previously, a previous error in documentation had spurred USCIS investigation. Nevertheless, he had neglected the follow-ups, presuming all was good. On a few company forms, he had lied, put the incorrect address on IRS paperwork, said to be resident in states he never visited. They were errors, but today the administration referred to them as fraud. Should David be found guilty, he might suffer anything from prolonged incarceration to criminal charges to complete deportation. His legal group claimed mitigating circumstances. Stress management. Insufficient advise. Still, the government persisted nonstop. David to them was not a TV star. He was a foreign national using the system. Still to Annie, he was her spouse. He was still Molly's father as well. She would grow up not remembering his voice, though. Annie initially showed up at the courts late in June. She came in a basic black outfit, without makeup. Her hair was fast bunched back. Molly napping with a pink shawl, fastened to her chest. Clutching David's old wedding band like a talisman, she sat near the back. She gasped when he was brought in, chained. He dropped weight. His face was skinny. His eyes darkened. But when he met Annie, they only slightly brightened up. Love was not important to the court. It talked just of codes, laws, and tradition. Annie clutched Molly close and murmured a lullaby, though, as the lawyers debated legal definitions of fraud. She was the only one still attempting to preserve a family in that courtroom. Weeks passed, month after month, and Annie stayed through it all. She made food from her house, sold dinners nearby, between meals taught virtual Thai lessons. She converted their shared YouTube page into a digital diary, never public, but loaded with messages to Molly. She captured herself turning through storybooks, melodic lullabies, giggling among tears. She also recorded messages for David, even though she wasn't sure he would ever come across them. She says in one, "Molly holds my finger for first time today. She like you rather strongly. Courageous as you are. But I hesitated, David. I am quite afraid. Please never give up." On their altar she lights incense. Pays to Buddha, weeping in Molly's hair. She also nods off every night, murmuring just one word. Soon. The last hearing gets close as July gives way to August. Opinions of the public are divided. Some join David in his appeal for pardon. Others criticize him. They demand responsibility. There are no sides, though, for Annie. Just the intolerable weight of perhaps. Perhaps he will make it home. Perhaps he wouldn't. Perhaps their family makes it through. Perhaps it isn't. Still, she gets ready anyhow. She shops for Molly a fresh wardrobe. She helps to clean the house. She rehearses what she will say even though nobody has asked her to talk. Since in its essence love is illogical. It gets ready even if hope appears ridiculous. Annie does not sleep the evening before the last hearing. She watches Molly breathe from next to the cot. She tells tales of Thailand softly. That evening she ran across David, of the first time he shed tears at her singing to him. She assures Molly she will always be loved no matter what happens. She whispers a second promise next, one she has not stated aloud, not even to herself. "I won't let you forget him," she continues, "should they take him away. I will not let the planet to wipe him off. Half of him is you, and all of my heart." Annie then makes her last visit to federal court early August on a steamy Arizona morning. David's destiny now rests in the hands of total strangers. And quiet descends the courtroom as the judge walks in. The planet lets out a breath. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.